when we're building, when we're working, or that if you're building anything from the ground up, just like a home, what I mean, the process, the preparation, the foundation of it, you got to make sure the foundation is secure. You got to make sure the ground is right, all of that. And just like the farmer. And so sometimes we may have the vision, or we may have, whether it's an ideal, whether it's a dream. And if we're not careful, we rush it.
You are now listening to the highlight reel builder for authors, the Going North podcast. I'm your host, best-selling author and Maxwell Leadership Certified Trainer, DomBrightmon. And you're going to be getting some tips and techniques to advance yourself coming up next. Today's episode is sponsored by both books, Going North, Tips and Techniques to Advance Yourself, and the follow-up bestseller, Stay the Course, The Elite Performer's 7 Secret Keys to Sustainable Success. Head over to Amazon.com, pick up both books. They are available in a trifecta of paperback, audio, and ebook. Cop all three of both and be on the lookout for another book from yours truly to help podcasters succeed. Now let's get on with today's episode. And today on the highlight reel builder for authors known as the Going North podcast, we got another super special, awesome human for you today, my friends. That's right indeed. That's right indeed, because it's the era of returning guests still after surprisingly 5.5 years. We got the first guest has probably been on the show the most, because my guest man's back for a 5th appearance, because he believes in growing in the grace of God and using his gifts to benefit others on this planet and beyond, because my man is returning back indeed. That's right indeed. The physician of endurance himself, award-winning, best-selling author, minister, a man of the cloth, motivational speaker, certified life coach. You heard that right, certified life coach, radio show host. My man is an educator on top of many other things. So let's give it up for the great return of the doctor himself, the E, the L, the H, the one and only Dr. Eric L. Holmes. How are you today, Dr. E?
Hey, Dom, thank you, man. Always. Listen, y'all, this is my little brother for life. Not only that, it's always an honor. I'm humbled and honored to be on, as I tell him, one of the most phenomenal podcasts across the country, as I call him, the podcast king. And because so many people has graced his platform, and with so many, I don't know too many people that have as many sessions that he has had on his podcast. And so it's ever growing, but ever for the people that have come on and have grace. Going North, this podcast that has been heard around the country and in so many countries, cities, and states. So I am humbled and I'm grateful just to be here, to share with you, my little brother. Thank you once again for always the love, the support, the encouragement, and just being of support, even having a platform to allow people to come on to share what is going on.
My pleasure indeed. And what's going on is something big, huge, uber, gigantic, worldwide, all in the wonderful city of charm and crab cakes, Baltimore, Maryland. The power of the pen. That's right indeed. So my goodness, he's back and better than ever. So what led you to have this idea, especially to gather the men together? Because you had a great event last year in 2022 featuring some powerful women sharing their great stories. Like what gave you the inspiration to this time bring on the men to share their stories?
One of the things is, Dom, is that the Power of the Pen, the Authors Expo, which is happening May 27th, 3 p.m. to 7 this year, at the venue 248 Create, located at 248 South Broadway Street, Baltimore, Maryland. And so one of the things is, and I just shared this actually today, about how this vision, because this is not just an event. This is a vision that has manifested. And I love when just several weeks ago, when God allowed me to know in reference to this vision and how it was birthed. And one of the things was, it was birthed out of last year, 9 of us praying every Monday at 9 p.m. for a friend and sister of ours who needed a miracle. And so we would pray every Monday at 9 p.m. And so one of the set after we ended one of them, I was just sitting here, drenched, tears, sweat, prayer shawl, just sitting here. And literally the spirit said, the power of the pen, the Authors Expo. So I'm sitting here, just unwinding, because I was literally drained from pouring out so much and just believing God for the miracle that she needed. And so literally I sat here and he said, the power of the pen, the Authors Expo, and let's keep writing. And I began to just write. And so I wrote everything. And then literally he started giving me all of those who would be on there, even down to the vendors and even for the venue. And so when I called and reached out to everyone, they just connected with the vision. And so, it's God. And so that's why I tell people, no matter what challenges or circumstances come, until the manifestation of things happen, long as you are following the plan and instructions he gave, it's going to be successful. And so I begin to do it. And so those that he gave, it was really a blessing. But this year I was sitting here and I had finished everything and didn't know I was going to do it this year. And the spirit just spoke, God just spoke. And so I finished everything, but I get upstairs and he said, do it from another perspective, do it from a male's perspective. So I came back downstairs and literally began to do it. And those that he gave me, wrote the names down, wrote them down. And from there, it's been the journey of this year, doing it from a male's perspective, and not only from a male's perspective, but a black male's perspective. And so the what we're doing is reaching the youth, reaching our young men, reaching our men, and taking them to show them from another perspective, showing them another way, showing them it's a better way, showing them, you can be what you want to be, and bringing and speaking to the dreamer and them the vision and the goals. And so that's how the power of the pen, the Authors Expo, Let's Keep Writing, Let's Keep Talking was birthed. But this year, it's from a male's perspective.
Amen to that. That's what I'm talking about. Indeed, a black male's perspective, especially. That's right, indeed. Because the thing is, like a lot, like, dude, it's there's just so many different directions. And I'm honored to be one of the names on that list as one of the esteemed panelists because, like, really, like, if I'm not mistaken, 9 different panelists, not including yourself, the host of the event, like 9 different background stories of growth, trials, tribulations, forks in the road, nowadays spoons in the road, and having to dodge boulders, and then just having to tap into the power of prayer and just like so many obstacles. Like you're going to get a lot from taking a part of this manifested vision. Like that's the real deal for this. So my goodness. So like when it comes to really manifesting your vision, you also have a wonderful book, a powerful, short power punch of a book that came out a few months ago at the time of this recording, if I'm not mistaken, How to Handle Patience and Endurance. So, my goodness, so how does that contribute to folks looking to manifest their vision, especially a God given vision?
One of the things is, even from one book right before this, my next season is due season, but shifting into how to handle patience and endurance. You must have the patience to endure. You must have patience to wait on that which God spoke, or the manifestation, whether it's the blessing, the miracle, the seed, whatever it is that he spoke. But you have to, as a farmer, from my first book, The Power of the Seed, once you've planted, once you've seeded, once you've sown, and then for the second, once the process, the preparation, the harvesting. And so what happens is, now I'm waiting on the manifestation. Now I have to have the patience to endure. I have to endure and wait on that which is to manifest. Just like the farmer, he's got to wait on the manifestation of that which he's planted. And so I can't rush it. I can't be in a hurry. And so what happens is, I have to have the patience, as James said, let patience have her perfect work. And so I've got to wait on it, but I got to wait in expectation, but I got to wait, and I got to have the endurance to wait. Because what happens is, most people are in a hurry, they're in a rush, and nobody wants to wait, because we're in such a microwavable age that everybody wants things overnight. And it doesn't happen because what happens is you might not be able to handle if it's prematurely. As
Mm.
my former pastor, the late Apostle Evan would say, I don't want nothing prematurely. I may not be able to handle it. And so I've got to wait and wait with anticipation, wait in expectation. But I got to how do I handle this patience? How do I endure? Well, it's the understanding the teachable moments in life. Everything can't be overnight. Everything can't be in a microwave. Some things go in the oven. Some things may go in a crock pot, but I still have to wait till it's fully ready.
Amen to that. Amen to that indeed. And it's so powerful too, especially those wonderful words you shared from your late apostle. Like, hey, you don't want nothing premature. Like, you definitely don't want nothing premature because it's like you may have a faster rise and fall faster and harder, or you may not just be able to have enough momentum to really tap into the power of that manifested vision. So my goodness, has there been a time in your life where you may have had a premature like gift or maybe a premature vision that you thought was manifested, but it really was just another step toward the vision?
Yeah, and what happens is when we're building, when we're working, or that if you're building anything from the ground up, just like a home, what I mean, the process, the preparation, the foundation of it, you got to make sure the foundation is secure. You got to make sure the ground is right. All of that, and just like the farmer. And so sometimes we may have the vision, or we may have whether it's an ideal, whether it's a dream, and if we're not careful, we rush it and then we miss out on the timing and season. So I always say, operate in the timing and season of God, because what happens is it may be time, but not season. It may be season and not time. But if you operate in the timing and season of God, you can't go wrong. And most times we are in a hurry. We're rushing it. And so we've got to be very careful. And so sometimes we may say, oh, you know what? This is a good idea, but is it a God idea? We may say, oh, this right here, this is the vision, but did he give you the vision? And so we don't want to miss it. And we have had situations or circumstance, or we've moved too fast. Or I remember 5 years ago taking a position, not that it was a career move to me, but sometimes you think about it, did I really wait on God? And so you have all these different ideas, because to me, it didn't work out. It wasn't for me, but I learned
Mhm.
in the process. But in that, what was my takeaway? What did I apply? What did I learn? What could I have done better now that I've applied it to where I am now? And so you just got to know sure and make sure, because why stay somewhere where that's not you, or that's not for you? And I did that, and then even had to move in faith and like, Lord, moving in faith. And so what happens is, so I waited, and what was for me now, that's why you've got to learn to wait. I had to have the patience to endure, because it was 4 months in between the other position, and waiting between the other campuses and the other position. But I had to have the patience, and then I had to endure to wait on what God had said or what God had promised.
Amen to that. Amen to that indeed. It's definitely a good thing you shared that too, because a lot of folks, especially when it comes to careers, they think they want this wonderful position. Oh, they may want to be in management or move up to being a supervisor or whatever. And it's like, oh, nope. It was kind of a premature timing issue. And if y'all haven't yet, like, make sure you secure your tickets for the Power of the Pen Expo in Authors Expo indeed. That's right indeed. On May the 27th. That's right indeed. From 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for my West Coast folks. I gotta make sure to get that time right indeed. So my goodness, my goodness. Any advice for those looking to really put basically to plan and to put an event together, because a lot of folks they may want to one day follow your footsteps and have a manifested vision themselves, and you yourself you've done it successfully last year in 2022, and it's going to be doubly blessed this year in 2023. So any words or pearls of wisdom for those looking to put on their own wonderful event?
One, really pray and seek God for direction and guidance. and then follow the plan and instructions. And then you got to put in the work. It takes sacrifices, it takes work, it takes faith, it takes finance, it takes having even those around you that would encourage you, that would believe in the vision and would be able to push the vision and be able to support the vision. And so you got to make sure you have a good team. You got to make sure you have those in your circle, that if I shared it, they're going to help push it, they're going to pray, they're going to encourage. But make sure you follow the plan and instruction, and no matter what comes in between, once he's given and once you're following what he has given, it's going to be successful. Pray, put in the work. You got to work while you wait on the manifestation. You got to work, you got to put in the work, late nights, early mornings, sacrifices, but to know that it would be an excellence and that it would be successful, you got to do it, you got to make sure. And so organization and making sure, process, preparation, organization, you know what I mean? And so make sure, like I have a whiteboard here, I got, my journal here, I got notes here, and making sure that you get it done in a timely way. Because when you do it organized, when you do it following the plan and instructions, and making sure, so if things do happen, you got time to maneuver things, or you got time to put things in place. Like for me, like everything is secured, set, contract signed, all of that. Picked up programs, picked up the poster board, picked up the stand, picked up the poster boards, all of the different things I needed. And yet, and still, so now when it's coming closer, it's not that you're running around trying to say, oh, I'm stressed, I'm this, I don't have that. No, plan, prepare, and then execute.
Amen to that. Plan, prepare, and execute. Indeed. That's right. Indeed. Might as well make sure prayer is part of the planning too, because things go a lot better when you pray before.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then I said, Lord, I put it back in your hands. I'm going to do the work. Bless it. Allow favor to blow your hand, favor upon it. And I'm going to execute. I'm going to put in the work. And I've been putting in the work. And I've told people I put in a lot of work, and I've put a lot into this. Running home from church to jump on, this radio podcast. And so it takes sacrifices. It takes putting in the work.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Because yeah, that's the thing. Like it's kind of like that wonderful quote of every master was once a disaster. Because hey, sometimes it's a disaster behind the scenes, but it's a masterful appearance once it's all well done and all said and done. Where it's like, wow, it almost looks like it's magic put this together. Like, man, this is flawless. And you probably thinking to yourself back to like, man, you know how much prayer work you got to do for this.
Yes, absolutely.
That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. So, my goodness, so being a radio show host and being a guest on other radio shows, is there a question that you wish folks would ask you more often when you're on the guest side of the microphone?
One of the things is that how do you do what you do? And my response will be, it's all God, and with prayer, and most of all, prayer, and with God, because I can't do nothing without him. I don't try to make sure I pray and get guidance and directions, and that way I know I'm going north in the right direction. I'm going north, and not if I'm supposed to be going south, you know what I mean? Or if I'm going north and I'm supposed to be going east. That's why prayer and direction and guidance, and so the thing about it is that, and I know a lot of people even say, well, when do you sleep? I said, I balance it out. You got to know how to balance it. I come home, I take a nap. Anybody, my job, even the president of my company, they know I come home, I take a nap. Even before I went to church, I try to do things on my way coming home, like I stopped and got gas, so I don't have to do that in the morning. So I try to plan and prepare. So, making sure I come home, take a nap, balance. Because one, I know I pray late. I know I'm up late. I work better at night. And so, but I know how to balance things out and rest in between, get rejuvenated, and then keep on going.
That's what I'm talking about, indeed. That's right, indeed. Another gem from the physician of endurance, baby. That's right, indeed, because that's true. That's right, indeed. That's the power of true self awareness right there, because he knows he works better at night. So my man's got that night owl swag in him, indeed, definitely, indeed, and that's definitely something folks need to really take on with them. It's like, hey, like definitely know when your peak performance hours are, and then plan your day so that way you're using the best of you to get out your best work. Indeed. So speaking of best work, a fun question for you. Since you got that last book you got out there, that wonderful How to Handle Patience and Endurance. If that book were a food, what would it be and why?
This right here, it would just be, I'm trying to think of, it could be a variety, but just of a good food, uh, a healthy food, a food that is nourishing to the soul. And because it will help to understand by reading and preparing, yet process and preparation to a good meal, that once you've eaten it, it now has you full, but now it has you to go forward. And so with the How to Handle Patience and Endurance, it's like a good meal. So you got a good meal that now you're fed. Now what happens is it gives you strength to endure.
That's what I'm talking about, indeed. That's what I'm talking about, indeed. Gonna need that nourishment, indeed. That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. It's that good word right there. That good word, indeed. So, my goodness, coming down to the magical question that every guest gets to receive. And that is if, wake up tomorrow and you were 25 again, but you're still in the current year with all of your knowledge and experience, what advice would you give to yourself?
Uh, don't let your visions and dreams die. Don't allow others to cause them to die, and don't even allow yourself. And live on purpose, with purpose, for purpose, but let your passion push you to purpose, to connect with destiny and whatever you do, knowing that it's never too late.
Oh, yeah, that's right indeed. That's right indeed. That's right indeed. My man got that great heat indeed. And the good thing about it is that's probably only 1% of what folks are going to get tonight. They need to get the other 99 of that power of the pen, the Authors Expo indeed. So, my goodness, so for those who need to snag some tickets for the event and keep up with all the good work that you're doing, what's the best way for folks to do so, Dr. E?
Uh, they can also, the tickets are available on Eventbrite, or follow me on all the social media handles, whether it's Facebook, Eric Holmes, Facebook, Twitter, Dr. Eric Holmes, LinkedIn, Dr. Eric Holmes, Instagram, The Power of the Seed, or my website, thepoweroftheseed.com, or just reach out to me, reach out to Dom, and you can get your tickets. Or, like I said, it is also available on Eventbrite under The Power of the Pen. And so you can get one. I just need you to be in the place, because this is not just an event, but it is a vision that has manifested, that we're going to keep writing. We're going to keep talking. Why? We're doing it from a male's perspective. And so what we're doing now is reaching our youth, reaching our young men, reaching our men, showing them that this is from another perspective, but not only a male's perspective, from a Black male's perspective.
Woo! There you go, folks. That's right indeed. That's right indeed. We're gonna put a link to that wonderful vision manifested in the show notes. That way we can see your face in the place indeed. So definitely attend it. It's a manifested vision indeed, because you're gonna leave with some great content, inspiration, and motivation to charge forward. Because some of the best things that can happen for you is when you attend powerful events like these to get to your next level. Because there's a phrase by or should I say a quote by Dr. Mark Victor Hansen, where he mentions that leaders are born at conferences. And when you hear from each panelist, if you be around the attendees and network and really get your face in the place and really catch some of the heat, you may even tap into your inner leader and get to your next level. So make sure your face is in the place at the power of the pen, the Authors Expo. We're going to keep writing and we're going to keep talking indeed. That's right indeed. So any parting words before we close up shop, Dr. E?
Listen, just be in the place, secure your ticket. If you cannot come, bless somebody else so that they can come, because we need this. We need our youth. we need our young men, and we need our men. And so we want to pour into them. We want to impart to them. We don't want to inspire them, empower them, and encourage them. And so what we need you to do, if you cannot, bless somebody else, get a ticket. I have given tickets away already. And so we want to leave you to understand that we're going to want to leave you empowered and inspired. And whatever you do, quitting is not an option. Faith is your only means of transportation, and victory is your only option. Endure to the finish line. And remember this, it's not how you start, but how you finish. It's not how fast you run, but that you endure. So endure to the end.
Thanks a bunch for investing your time by listening to this wonderful podcast today. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you really did, do me a solid and leave a review or share this episode with at least 3 people that you think would get some value out of today's content. Advance others to advance yourself.